Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen. Yeah,
Hello.
and that's how we do it. Every single week, we're here giving you gaming news, video game fun stuff. We just general nerdiness. We like to ramble a lot. So if you like to talk about random things, you should hang out with us and talk about random things like games and Superman, what have you. How you doing, Owen?
Superman's okay.
Superman's okay.
I
Who's your
just think
favorite?
he's like
Yeah.
one of the most plain characters of all
Oh
time.
yeah.
I mean, I
No.
guess that's the whole idea is that like he's supposed to be like morally uh what's the word where you I don't know, he's withstanding all the time, like consistent, I guess,
Sure.
but he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. I like some of the Superman comics, like recent comics, because they
Sure.
actually go into like him being very, like unique. He's an alien trying to be a human. So, anyways, like I said, we talk about gaming stuff. You've been playing some Crisis Core, dude. How's that been?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's different because I have never played it before. I'm playing it through certain means on a
Mm-hmm.
certain handheld that
Mm-hmm.
it was not originally played on. So we'll leave it at that. But I justify it because it's not available through anywhere other
It's
than
true.
used products. So that's my line. If it's not available to buy
Mm-hmm.
from a from the publisher and everything, then I like to take a shot. You'll notice with this like screen, it kind of looks very familiar. That's because they open up in a very similar situation that the original Final Fantasy VII does. But it's an action RPG, so that's the first thing. You're a party of one, at least as far as I can tell. It has its own really interesting combat mechanics. I wish that I could um, stream it.
Yeah.
um, I've heard that there are ways to stream said handheld.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've also heard there's a way to stream a cat, which is a lot easier than streaming a handheld. But
Yeah.
it'd be cool to play it with some people. But what I like the best, other than that, it's adding lore to one of my favorite universes of all time in Final Fantasy VII, is like it has this mission system. Have
Mm-hmm.
you ever played it?
I haven't. I've seen it. I've
Okay.
seen some bits of it, but I haven't played it. So I'm curious. Like, you're not going to spoil it for me, but like,
No,
yeah,
no, no, no.
what
Like,
do
so
it?
there's like these like things that you do. Like, there's the story that you're following along the whole time, but then you can also just do these side missions. And all you have to do to access the side missions is go to a save point and go to these side missions, and you can just do them. Like, they unlock during various means. Like, if you talk to a certain person, it'll
Yeah.
unlock a new side mission, and things like that. But the great thing about that is like from a wind down perspective, like you put the kid to bed, you grab
Mm-hmm.
yourself a beverage, and you're just chilling there watching Below Deck Med as we've been doing, and you're just playing. And I don't have to play through the story. I can just play through
Sure.
some missions, do some Final Fantasy VII combat, and then if I want to do like a story mission, it's like, oh, okay, I'll do a little bit of story. But I've been doing a lot of the side content,
Yeah.
which is fun. But Zach's a cool character. I've enjoyed getting to know him a little bit. It's very interesting that oh yeah, I won't really spoil it, but it's very interesting that Cloud copied him based
Yeah.
on what you learn in this game.
Yeah. Which is cool. Which I mean, I'm obviously final quasi spoilers. Let's just say, I mean, if you know who Zach is, then you know that he has something to do with Final Fantasy VII. So that's what I did like about what we see of him in the remake, because
Yeah.
in seven you get they talk about him very like in passing,
Mhm.
but you don't really get to know him. So that's one reason why I think I need to play this.
Mhm.
The only way I can think of that would be the easiest way to stream it would be, unfortunately, with an emulator. I've seen people like have like rigs for PSPs and PS Vitas
Yeah.
to stream, but it's not as easy as an emulator, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, it's theoretically possible through the same means that I'm playing it now, but I
Okay.
haven't tested any of them yet to see how well it works or anything like that. If it's doable, then I'm happy to hook that up because there's some other things that I have to play through now. Most of them legitimate, but this one is just a game that uh, been wanting to play for years. And like, if they would just put it on PSN, I'll gladly play it. I looked into that a little bit. Apparently, there's a few licensing issues. Like one of the characters looks like some famous guy in Japan.
Huh.
So there's a likeness issue. It's a musician apparently, and then apparently one of his songs is on the soundtrack somewhere. Um,
Hmm.
or he's a voice for a character. There's something to do with some kind of musician there, and I still don't get that though. Like, why doesn't Square just pay that guy? Like, hey, we're gonna remake this game, and you're gonna get 1%. Like,
Yeah.
everybody would buy this game, especially after how well Final Fantasy VII
Oh
Remake
yeah.
did, which recently sold 5 million copies. Shout outs to them.
Yeah. I
I
think it's a
don't I don't know
similar
why they don't do it.
situation like Grand Theft Auto. Whenever they release Grand Theft Auto games on a different platform, they have to relicense music. So it's literally signing a contract again. And there are certain bands that like bands and artists that'll just straight up say, "No, I'm not doing it," or "I'm not doing it
Yeah,
again," or whatever. And you're like, "But you did it the first time." Like, no, don't want to do it anymore.
yeah.
Which
Like I saw with like Tony Hawk, like is Rage going to be in the Tony Hawk soundtrack? Because
I
that seems
doubt.
totally like a thing that Rage would be like, no, we're okay.
I have a feeling that they're going to say no. I mean, that's like you said, it's a very Rage thing to do, but also like seeing that they're still really active. It's not like they're like obscure, like Tom Morello and others are like still politically active, musically active, and none of them have to work. Like they're not hurting for money. So I could see them just going, no, I'm good. Or at least I should say Zach De La Rocca and
Yeah.
Tom Morello don't have to
Did
work.
you see the tweets from Tom like kind of recently? I don't remember like
Was
if
it?
they're from like a couple months ago or
Yeah,
not. And we're not gonna get political on this show, but
sure.
it was funny that like, man, I just used to love your music, and then you just started being all political, and then just everybody was like, did you what machine did you think they were raging against? Like the toaster?
Yep. Yep. Well, someone like he's been doing it a while. I guess this one I'm thinking of, like I saw that, and there's one like from over a year ago where he posted something, quasi political as he does, as
As
Tom
you do.
does, and then someone when it like replied back like, I don't need you to try to get like the guy was like downplaying it. He called him some like basically dismissive about like some rock star trying to get into politics or whatever, and he's like, I got a degree from Harvard. Like
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a master's or a PhD or something.
yeah, he does. And like
Yeah,
legitimately, they didn't just
yeah,
hand it to him. Like he
yeah.
legitimately has that. He's that intelligent, he's that active. Like he continues to study, he continues to learn. Which is, and you know what, if you take anything away from this show, continue to learn no matter what you're doing. Always learn something every day, because if you're learning every day, it's a good day. That's what I say.
You know, whenever you learn things, like, do
Mhm.
you learn how to solve puzzles whenever you're replaying through Resident Evil?
I do, and you know what? It's funny because I swear I don't think you even saw this. Oh crap! I had it queued up. It was actually on a puzzle, but I do. I was doing a puzzle this recently, and I had it saved up. I've been really proud of myself. I've only had to look up like two puzzles, and the rest of
Ooh,
them I've been fine with. And the two that I had to look up were in my opinion janky. Like they were ones you literally have to write down
it's
stuff
an
on a
old
note.
game, right?
Yeah, so like, well, it's like they expect you to go into a room and it's like, oh, you've got this going on. Write it down on a piece of paper because it's not saved in the game. And then when you go into the other room, like an hour later, go reference that piece of paper, and then you'll figure out, what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Thankfully, there's not a ton of them in this game. There's a few that do that, and as I go forward, there aren't going to be as many. They're more intuitive puzzles or logical. I made a joke because there's an ongoing joke about Dark Souls games, and like every door that you come across
Yeah.
is locked from the other side. Like that's all of Resident Evil. It's like it's always locked from the other side, or it's from a key that you don't have yet. And then when you,
Fair.
yeah, and which honestly is really good game design. I've really loved this the remake of one, and I'm really excited to play the remake of two. And I'm playing it now. I don't know if I didn't get to show it on here, but I showed it on my Polo to you earlier today. But I have brought the PS4 into the office, so now I got a
Yeah.
PS4, PS3, Wii U, the Switch, and then all my classics.
Look
So,
how fancy he is, ladies
dude,
and
I can
gentlemen.
stream anything over here. It's like, so this goes right into a capture card. So I streamed Resident Evil from there to this straight to Facebook, and it was pretty glorious, I must say. Yeah.
Glorious. glorious.
I
Such a good
loved it.
word.
I loved it. You know what else I love? I'd love for some Xbox to actually happen. And we actually got some news about, or we got some leaks.
Some
We have
bummer news.
some bummer news, some interesting news. Like it's a bittersweet symphony of Halo this week. What do we start off? We're going to start off with
Cause it's
up
a
note.
bittersweet. All right, sorry.
So good. I was going to
It
be
just
stuck
makes
in
me
your
think
head
of
now,
Cruel Intentions.
right? I haven't seen the movie
Like
forever.
there's not a movie that is the biggest association of song to movie I think I have in my brain is that
Yeah.
song with that movie. Um, I mean, we might as well talk about the bad part, which sucks.
Yeah, Halo Infinite being delayed. Um, this really sucks because this was, in my opinion, this was their killer app, if you will. This is the reason to why you should get an Xbox Series X. Yes, it's available on your Xbox One. It's available to play if you have an Xbox. That's as long as you have a One, X, S, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is, as they've said, it's optimized. Everything's optimized for Series X. Is going to look better. It's going to play better. And now we're delayed. Man, this is I think this is the first console to launch with zero exclusives, zero anything to buy the game other than backwards compatible.
I mean, I looked into it, and like the launch library for PS4 was not good. I mean, they had Knack, which was a PS4 exclusive. The I don't believe the Xbox One launch was any better. It's like pretty much most of the time what you can count on for launches is sports games,
Yeah.
Call of Duty, and you might get like another Ubisoft game in there, or not another, but an Ubisoft game like an Assassin's Creed or something. And so it's not like it's historically awesome at launch, but at the same time, they've literally said Halo Infinite is going to launch for the last year, all of 2020, at the end of I think 2019. They're like Halo and Series X are going to launch together, and they showed it off during their event. And while people said it looked like Halo and it's interesting, it received a fair amount of criticism for how it looks. And I think that was fair criticism. Some people I don't think did, but I think that they took that feedback and they're like, you're right, we're not ready. We shouldn't have showed this off.
Yeah,
and I don't think they should have.
I agree. I don't think they should have. They shouldn't have showed it off. I know it's something that we're anticipating. Is something we all want to play. It's way too early for it. I saw quite a few people playing and talking about the previous Halo, and I forget is Halo 5 was the last one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember what the last one was, honestly. I haven't played Halo in a while, but they were they were saying that they were doing side-by-side comparisons, and they're like, here's the last one, and it doesn't, here's the last one, it didn't that looks better than this one, which it's just janky, man. I'm fixing your audio, by the way, if you want to keep talking.
Oh, cool. I like getting my audio fixed. I don't know what I did. And so, I don't know. It just stinks. It stinks that was going to actually be a Cadillac launch title, right? Even if you look at PS5's launch lineup, the thing is, Miles Morales is a great launch title, but we also know now that that's not Spider-Man 2. It's a thing where they're using the assets from Spider-Man. They had him available, and they're making a Miles Morales story, which is awesome. That means we got a quick turnaround time. Spider-Man came out in 2018, and 2018, 2019.
But then we also got we got the Halo delay, but then we got quasi confirmation that the Series S is a thing. Which I feel like this is one of the biggest, one of the worst kept secrets ever. I know people say that a lot, but come on. So this was packaging from someone who ordered from a third party, and ordered an Xbox Series X controller, and it says right there for Xbox Series X/S, also Xbox One.
Yeah. Yeah, what a bummer of a day. I guess that we should have seen it coming. We had never even considered it. And this, for those who don't know, this is probably referring to the Lockhart
Hmm.
code name that we've floated several times, where we're like, is it a dongle? Is it a digital only Xbox Series X? What is it? We still have no idea about that, but it appears to be that it is going to be called the Xbox Series S.
So like the worst naming ever. I cannot tell you how many times like I've had to like slow myself down when talking about this console, and to make sure that people know what I'm talking about.
It's so
X
dumb.
it's the worst. Xbox Series X, because I have to slow down, because if I say it too quick, people aren't going to know which one I'm talking about, and that's weird. Like it's not that it's not easy to remember, because it is easy to remember, but it's a lot to remember, and it's exacting. And I can't imagine like what parents and grandparents who aren't gamers, I guess it's only grandparents right now, like grandparents trying to figure out like what the grandkids want, because my grandma couldn't remember what Nintendo, Sega, any of that was.
There's still plenty of parents out there too that
Yeah.
have zero idea. I don't. I just don't like it. Like I get that there's consistency in this. We have the Xbox One X, we have the Xbox One S, the Xbox One. Now we're gonna have the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. I just don't get
Yeah.
how we can't give it just a little something, just a little
Mhm.
something different. I think I hate it more. It's just because it's X and S.
Yeah.
Like, can't we just pick some other letter?
They're so close. Well, like I think so, I think we talked about it early on, and some other people were joking, because you have Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then people were joking saying they should call the next one the Xbox, like just because none of the names matter, like none of the tiny the numbers don't make any sense. It's not like PlayStation, which is just so regimented. And I think Xbox Series X, I know they're trying to say like, oh, it's a series, like this is an ongoing evolving thing. They're trying to break the idea of generations where you could have a Series X. But if you're going to start that, when you want to start at like the beginning of the alphabet, like Xbox Series A, Series
Yeah,
B, like seriously. And then AB is like your first lineup, CD is your next one. Like that kind of makes sense
sure.
if you're going to do something like, I don't know. It's just weird.
But at least the cool thing that we found out, in addition to Halo delays and Lockhart names, is
Hmm.
that Microsoft, in all this, literally in the same exact like 30 minutes, they posted the delay about Halo,
Yep.
and then another thing was posted on the Xbox like main page that this console is coming out in November, at
In
least the Series
November.
X.
Yep. And I think if they were smart, I think these should launch together, because the Series X is going to be the more expensive console of the Lockhart. I really hope the Lockhart's ready, because man, if they've got a cheap console to launch this year, and it's like, well, PlayStation's going to be, just ballpark, we don't know, but let's say $400 and $500 between the digital and regular. And then you have Xbox, who's like, you want an Xbox Series X for 450, or do you want the Series S for like $200? That'd be
I think there's no
insane.
way it could be that cheap.
That'd be insane. I'm just saying, like, if it's a streaming dongle kind of
Oh, sure.
situation, but then we're talking that cheap. If it's not 300, 350, I mean, I feel like Microsoft's gonna try to undercut Sony with their Series S. It's a lower powered console. From, if the rumors are correct, it's a lower powered console, where the PlayStation all digital version is not lower powered. It just doesn't have a disk drive.
Yeah.
And with the further hinting of November, we got a leak with some Microsoft packaging for the Xbox saying, do not sell or display before November 6th. So we doing like a 5th November, what is it? Remember the 5th of November thing right here?
Could
Or
be. I mean, the 6th of November is.
is that a
Let's see.
Tuesday?
That's what I'm looking up right now. The
Yeah.
6th of November is a Friday, which I think
Okay.
is fair. And then if we recall what Owen thought about the PS5 launching, it's not going to happen. But the dream was that it would come out October 30th, the Halloween
Yeah.
weekend.
Oh,
And I
man.
think that's still, like, what if that's still in line? Like, since if Xbox is coming out the 6th, what if PS5 comes out October 30th?
October
A week
30th would
apart.
be amazing. I mean, I'm already ready to buy it. I'm considering taking that day off anyways. I think either way, in my opinion, both of them need to launch before November 17th because that's Valhalla. And I think Valhalla is going to release on both of those natively. So yes, we've got a lot of backwards compatibility with these consoles, but I think that's going to be one you can buy with the new consoles, and it would behoove them to launch it during that time.
Oh, they
It's a
have
large,
to.
yeah. It's
Cyberpunk
a
too.
Cyberpunk as well. So
Cyberpunk, I think, is
I want to say it's
20th.
yeah, I think it's just after Valhalla. So they need to launch with both of those. And you know what? I was on the fence about getting Cyberpunk only because I don't know how much time I'm going to put into it, but I feel like I may pick it up because this is
19th.
the 19th. Okay, cool. So I feel like I'm going to be buying like kind of like what you were saying. We're basically going to buy most if
Anything.
not all of the launch titles. I want to play them. I want to play them all. I've got so many games that I have in my backlog, but I want to experience this generation as early as possible. I can't wait.
There's no logic. Don't try and logic our way into like there's no. I don't need any justification to buy every game on this console. Like I have a YouTube show where I'm going through my 500 game backlog.
Yep.
Like there's no. It doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna like except for Valhalla probably just because I'm abstaining from that one until they make it 60 frames. Only I imagine a bunch of the other games are going to be less than 60 frames too. I'm just still so mad about it. But like I'll probably still wind up with Cyberpunk even though I really don't expect to play much of it. I hope it sucks me in like Witcher couldn't, because I imagine that there's something to it. But the thing about Cyberpunk is Cyberpunk's going to be so broken. Cyberpunk is going to be a broken game. Like everybody loves Witcher 3. Witcher 3 deserves all the game of the years that it got, but if nobody remembers, that game launched broke AF. Like there was a lot of problems with that game because it was very what's the word where you're trying to bold? Like what's the word? Like you did a lot. I don't know.
It's overreaching. It's brazen. Yeah.
It was robust.
Sure.
And I think the same thing is going to be for Cyberpunk. So that game's going to be broken at launch. I hate to tell everybody that. Like you should just wait until there's a sale in January, unless you have to be in day one. But it would be. What if? Would you? Because we've talked about not buying. You have a 1X though, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, that's
so I
my
basically
problem.
don't have a reason right now.
If the Series S was $300,
yeah.
And let's say the Series S is basically an Xbox One S, like except maybe with a better hard drive. Like if the Series S was $300, I could definitely see myself picking it up, if it's available.
Sure, because you only have an OG Xbox One, right? Yeah,
that thing is so slow and bulky and old.
Yep.
If you try and play it, it's just it's sad. It just sits there in its sadness. But I think that would be a price point that could get me to do something early. Otherwise I'll wait a year or two until they have launched some games. Launch games, man. I want some launch games.
I want good launch games. I wish that we had more exclusives this go round, because I don't feel like playing Godfall. So I'm just kind of in this
That's
like
another game I probably won't buy.
Yeah. Like I thought about it, but like the more that I think about it, I'm like, they really need to put out a free beta weekend or a free to play weekend, to get people to try it.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know how the sales of the. Well, actually, you know what? Let me put it this way. I don't think the sales of the game are going to be lackluster because it's one of the few exclusive launch titles. So I feel like people are going to grab it because it's a launch title.
Yeah, sales are going to be great.
Sales are going to be great on it. But I wish there were more games that were. I guess we have Miles. We have Miles Morales. So
that's like the only thing I need on PS5.
Yeah, because the PS5 will be able to play all my PS4 games. So I'm excited about that because I haven't had two of the same console, and while this isn't two of the same console, I'll have one in the office, I'll have one in the living room, so I'll be able to kind of be flexible with it. So I'm excited. That with cloud saves and everything, I'm got to figure out how I'm gonna kind of go with the flow on that. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Apparently, we're looking at, let's see, Watch Dogs Legion being available at launch, Miles Morales being available, Deathloop, that is a game that I'm very interested in. Astro's Playroom comes with it. Kena, I'm very interested in, which I don't know if you recall that one. It was like kind of Zelda looking. It was in the forest. She,
yes,
like,
yeah, I remember that. That one looked cool.
Bug Snacks, that's a buy. Fortnite.
Speaking of Fortnite, though, we had some news with Fortnite this week and with Epic. I'll today, like hot off the presses,
4, 5, 6 hours ago.
So, long story short, with this, essentially, Epic has been trashing the way that Apple takes 30% in regards to transactions.
Not just Apple, but Google and PlayStation, and like literally everybody takes 30% except for Epic.
That's right. And so Epic, and I didn't see what was the update that they did. Well, because they did an update to Fortnite.
Yeah. So
was it through to in-game?
Yeah, so Fortnite, basically, for those who don't know how like in-game purchases work through different storefronts, when you buy something like an in-game currency on a game, it goes through whatever consoles that you're buying it on, aside from PC generally. So like if you buy it on iOS, it goes through the Apple Store, it goes through the Google Play Store, it goes through the PlayStation Network, and all of those companies take a piece of that sale. They take 30% of that sale, as a matter of fact. And what Epic did is they pushed an update to their game that allows you to bypass the store. And I'm pretty sure they pushed it to all stores. I only know about iOS specifically. I didn't research heavy enough, but they put a link in there basically where it's like you can click their thing. And I don't know how it works. I'm assuming it opens up your web browser or something and allows you to buy straight from Epic.
Which is a violation of Apple's terms in regards to their developers. And I believe they did do this for everyone. Apple's very protective of this, as we've seen similar with regards to xCloud. We're not getting xCloud into Apple. So there's a lot of there's a little bit of political in there, but there's also you're playing by their rules in their environment. Apple's created the rules for the developers to play by. You have signed up and said, I will agree to your terms. And Epic, I think, is large enough that they basically said, we're going to rock the boat because we're large enough to affect change. Yeah, exactly. You do that too. Like if I say certain things or I hear certain things, music pops in my head. But I feel like Epic is purposely doing this because they're saying, if a large enough company pushes to make change and to, in my opinion, it can be a positive change to basically say, hey, let's get the developers more of the profits. Because say what you want about Epic and the Epic Game Store, they are at least that is one of the ideas, is they're trying to get more profits directly to the developers. I'm about to buy Mortal Shell on Epic Game Store. It's only $30, and I know that's a small studio, and a lot of it goes to the studio. So
remind me to give you a creator code for that.
Oh, you got a creator code for it?
You know what that does, right?
No.
It just gives like streamers and stuff, they get a piece, and there's a streamer that I follow, literally all of his Epic Game creator code goes to children's, I think, hospital. So
Children's Medical or something. Yeah.
So,
cool. Yeah. Send that to me and I'll totally use that, because I'm all about that. Any of the stuff where they're like, hey, you can shop here and a percentage, even though you didn't pay more, some of it goes to charity. I like doing that. I will say that in the political aspect of it, I do know that, again, someone taking money in the middle, because the company in the middle can write that off as a charitable donation. So It's like, yeah, but at the same time, I in one way or another, it's money that I would not have been
Yeah.
giving, and it doesn't have to change. It doesn't change what I'm doing. Anyways,
Epic only
what
takes 12%.
so 12% is good. So the idea is Epic's a large enough company, with Unreal, with Fortnite, with so much going on, and with the Epic Game Store, that they basically said, you know what, we're going to try to influence Apple in this case. But Apple's a big enough company that Apple could just say, okay, no, which is what's
They immediately booted the game off the. It's
exactly.
not if you look it up in the iOS App Store, you will not find it right now. So what that means is that anybody who has it on their iOS device currently,
Yeah.
you can still play it. I believe for 2 more weeks, because
Is that a check-in that it does through the
no,
store?
no, in a couple weeks, Fortnite's going to launch a new season, and when they
Gotcha.
launch that new season, that involves an app update, which you can't do. And
Makes sense.
so right now it's delisted on the App Store. If you have it on there, I wouldn't delete it. You can still play it for a couple weeks. I can't comment too heavily on this because I have a significant stake in one of these companies personally, like in terms of my own personal wealth and job.
Yep.
You can decide which company that is for yourself if you don't know me already.
And I definitely didn't want to put you at risk in anything.
No,
It's definitely for both companies. It's a war. It's a game of chess. Whatever analogy you want to use.
I do want to shout
It's old.
out a YouTube channel. It's a video game. He's not a video game lawyer. He's a business lawyer, but he really likes following the entertainment industry and video games a lot, especially. And he's already actually come out with a video. And a couple hours after it happened.
Dude, is it Legal Eagle?
No, it's Virtual
Okay.
Legality.
Okay.
And his name is Richard Hogue. I follow him on Twitter. He's a good follow just because, again, he really likes breaking down video game law.
Yeah.
So what happened after Fortnite was booted, Epic had a lawsuit ready to go. They had an ad ready to go. They had a hashtag and everything ready to go. So you could tell that they were baiting this into happening so that they could start this thing. So it's like a 30-minute video, but if you're interested in that kind of thing, I encourage people to go look for it. Again, Virtual Legality is the name of that. Just interesting, kind of breaking down like the angle that Epic is going for, what they named kind of in their lawsuit and in their public statement, and then kind of looking at some things on like how Apple's game app store rules and all that stuff is there too. So that was an interesting watch to watch after work. I encourage people to check it out. Again, I can't say anything else really in terms of opinion. I have an opinion, but I can't make it.
Sure, of course, yeah, and yeah, I need to check that out. I thought, so you definitely get educated when it comes to things like this. When you see something interesting popping up that's one thing we're trying to do. We try to be a sound mind and educate people. But when you hear about some weird weird action that happens, there's usually some pretty hefty law behind it, and these large companies are basically playing chess. And speaking of laws and playing chess, Dr. Disrespect came back. So had to fix the audio there, but yeah, Dr. Disrespect coming back after was it a month and a half?
Yeah,
It seems like
2020
forever.
time doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it seems like forever, but Dr. Disrespect coming back to streaming on YouTube. So it's funny because like my nephew and a few other people like have messaged me every now and then. They're like, "Dude, what happened?" I'm like, I know.
Nobody knows.
So he said he doesn't know. I think he knows. I think it has to do. It's something having to do with a lawsuit or something to that effect. He's smart enough to not say anything, because if you say anything, you put yourself at risk. So I don't know what's happening.
Facing amount. He said Twitch has still not officially said why, which they haven't publicly.
They haven't publicly.
He basically said let their lawyers do their jobs at this point.
Yep.
Which is fair. He's on YouTube as a non-exclusive, so he has no contract. He just decided to start streaming, and on his first day, he had basically just one of his mini screens going.
Yeah.
And at one point, there was 500,000 people watching.
I
Uh,
was one of them.
yeah, I watched for a little while. Ninja did a stream on Twitch, and he's also done a stream on YouTube. Still no contract for him either, but he hopped on with another big streamer named Dr. Lupo, who a lot of people know, who's a big charitable giver, but also just a really big Twitch streamer in general. He streamed with him for a couple hours, and he got up to I think 200,000. And then lastly, Shroud uh, announced his return to Twitch, and he did a stream, and he had his numbers were also sick.
Yeah,
I think he had like 4 or 5 million clicks during that stream,
man.
and he is back exclusively with Twitch. So that means Twitch probably gave him some money. For those who don't remember us talking about this or just didn't pay attention, both Shroud and Ninja went to Mixer with exclusive contracts that they both got paid out. Ninja got somewhere around 30 million is the rumor, and Shroud got somewhere around 10 million is the rumor that he just got to keep when Mixer shut down. And so he got 10 million and went back to Twitch for God knows how much. Like I'm sure he used that as leverage with Twitch to be like, you want me, you got to pay me at least that much.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're getting like a half or a third, like, first of all, they got pay to play, meaning like they got the money no matter what. They didn't lose money after Mixer, so they got the money. They could have done nothing. Decided to come back in their own way, in their platform of choice. Yeah, I think that Shroud definitely got some money. I think Dr. Disrespect's making so much on the side, he doesn't need to. I watched him for about 30 or 40 minutes the other day, because I didn't watch a lot of his content before, and I was just watching like $5, $20, like going, and that's not counting people who are already part of the Champions Club that are already paying him $5 a month. And I think he's got, I think it was like 20, like, no, it's not 20. I think it's like 4 or 5 million people are part of that. So he's getting, let's say after taxes, all of that, like that, what is that? That's after taxes, after paying, whatever Patreon or whatever they're going through, he's getting 8 to 10 a month for that. I mean, if I were him, I'd be pocketing like crazy and continuing to do what he does, because he's good.
He does awesome, and I'm throwing out a bunch of streaming like numbers that people are viewing, and not only the reason behind that, because these are big streamers that are already going to pull numbers anyway for various reasons, but also since the pandemic kind of kicked off and has been going longer and longer, Twitch grew by 56% in terms of hours watched from first to second quarter. So I don't have the actual hours, but it grew 56%. And then in that same period of time, Facebook grew 75%. Yep. And so again, I don't have the numbers. I can tell you that Twitch is a very watched website. But just it's crazy that it's not crazy in terms of like people watching more stuff, but what's crazy is that we've seen it across the entire gaming industry. Like digital sales are huge. I think this last quarter for PlayStation, only 1 in 4 games sold was a physical game. So 3/4 of their games in the last quarter were all digital. Their sales beat last year's projections by a lot. Nintendo's too. Nintendo has already sold like 25 million copies of Animal Crossing New Horizon. So it's already like I think their top 2 or 3 best-selling game on Switch.
Yeah.
The numbers around watching gaming also though have gone up significantly. So I just think it's crazy that what this pandemic has done for gaming, and I'm sure it's done that for TV and all that stuff too, but just in terms of what it's doing for the thing that we talk about the most.
Oh, of course. No, streaming, it's definitely done it for streaming. The thing, and I was telling Whitney this earlier today, what we're seeing, and there's a positive and negative to this, but what we're seeing is that people still crave that media. They still want a lot of media. They still want new We want to consume new media. If it's new to us, it's even better. If it's new, if it's it's even better. But if it's new to us, it's still okay. With a lot of Hollywood basically going on pause and stopping, essentially at halt because of COVID, and a lot of other like Broadway and others kind of going at halt. I think people are going to get used to lower quality. The bar is being set lower in regards to the quality that they're okay with. And like I said, in some cases, that's good. That means that your Twitch streamers and others that are putting out some decent stuff, that's fine. Where the bar used to be a little bit higher. Dr. Disrespect, like we said, is like one of the best in the business. But when it comes to streaming content, like people are streaming because there's not anything like the really new stuff that they want to watch when it comes to movies. People are watching lesser and less quality. And there was an article talking about that recently. I didn't have it queued up because I didn't think we'd talk about it. But essentially, the feeling that I've been saying and other people are feeling it is people are getting used to a lesser quality. So when Hollywood ramps up, they're going to be pouring all the money into these big budget movies. And some of them aren't going to recoup the cost because we don't care as much. Marvel movies are still going to make money, but sure. But others, like it's like we're okay with the bar has been set lower. Just deal with it.
Yeah, did you see how Mr. Deeds made it into the Netflix top 10 this last week?
Are you serious? No.
Like out of all the Adam Sandler movies to make it into the top, Mr. Deeds is not a bad movie. I actually enjoyed it whenever I've seen it. I don't know, 5 or 6 times. It's not a bad Adam Sandler movie, but it's nothing on his like level of like, you know, the Happy Gilmores of the world and all that stuff. But that cracked the top 10. Like, just people are just going back to the well of stuff. I watched Umbrella Academy season 2 this week. Finished that was solid. So there is that good, but there's like I'm seeing more people comment like, all right, I'm pretty sure I've consumed Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Netflix.
Yep, I finished them. Completionist, platinum trophy, Netflix. Yeah, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Whitney's watching a lot of trash TV, but even then, so she's going through like 90 Day Fiance. I'm watching it too. Let's be honest. What 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight, and blasting through them. What's that?
I'll watch that one. The Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight.
We're on season 5 of Below Deck Mediterranean, and I don't care. Like there's like it's been completely mindless television. Like I finally watched the Umbrella Academy, but I have like Watchmen season 1. You know, the only season of Watchmen that there's going to be. I have the Philip Pullman series. His Dark Materials. I have that season 1 queued up and ready to go.
Watch that,
I want to, you know, there's a thing about what's going on out in the world. I just wanted some mindless TV, and so did the wife. So we're watching Bravo shows, man.
Yeah, same thing. I would say Lifetime shows and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, and I like rooting for specific couples. Like in the Married at First Sight, like I'm rooting for some couples, and others I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. It's fun stuff. And then we purposely don't look on our phones because like if you Google the people, you can like figure out what's happening to them right now. Yeah. So we're like, no, don't look it up. Anyways, let us know what trash TV you're watching, because you can't play video games all the time as much as you'd like to. Are you playing anything? Are you watching anything mindless? Are you playing anything mindless? Like, are you just like zoning out and playing Minecraft? What are you going back to the well for? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you next time.